Berkowitz Presents Show. My name is Elaine Abrams, and the guests for this show are Jane Kim and Jenny Liao. They are art students at Cardozo High School here in Queens. What is special about them is that their works of art have been winning prizes in nationwide competitions. What is even more unusual is Cardozo High School is not a specialized art school, but thanks to Douglas Potter, their art teacher, students who show promising talent are selected for an art program that helps to develop their skills. These students did not show interest in art prior to coming to Cardozo. Prior students who won in art competitions had their works exhibited in the Corcoran Gallery in Washington, D.C. Jane Kim and Jenny Liao will discuss their work as you watch them on your screen. Jenny will start, but first, let's talk briefly with them both. Jenny, how did you get involved in this?
Well, I started when I was a kid, and I used to draw cartoons and some simple sketches, like with pencils, and didn't get serious about art until I was a junior in high school with Mr. Potter.
And how about you, Jane? Did it work the same for you?
Yes, I also got a lot of my ideas from cartoons, from Japanese cartoons, and I would often mimic or imitate the artist's style in those cartoons and, make my own characters. And then in high school, I became serious about art with Mr. Potter.
Well, you've come a long way from drawing cartoons to winning prizes. So why don't you show us some of your pictures?
Okay.
Jenny, how about you?
Yeah, the first piece I have is this is abstract work with a lot of mediums. This one is particularly done with pencil, charcoals, and ink, paint, all sort of things on paper. Because this is my first piece in this kind of medium, so I really wasn't thinking about any particular themes, but it turned out quite well with multiple spaces and all. And this one is also one of the 10 pieces I submitted to the ARTS competition, in which I won level 4 nationally. Next one. And the second one I have is also one of the 10 pieces I submitted to ARTS, and that one is also one of the earlier work on paper with ink, washes, and simple paint tainted on background. The ARTS competition requires to send 10 complete works in slide form down to Florida, and then they will select finalists who will go down to Florida again and be judges. This one is the third piece of my 10 pieces. This one has this one has glue in it actually. I mixed glue with paint and with charcoal drawn on over the painted backgrounds. And there's some newspaper strip that I use also, some showing over there and here in the background as well. And the next one, please. This one has a title actually. It's called From Above, and this one is on canvas instead of paper. The medium was also painted background with charcoal, compressed charcoal, and white county. And this is the fourth one of the 10 pieces I submitted to ARTS. Next, please. This one, it's called Broken Up. It's the fifth slide I have for the 10 pieces that go down to Florida. And it's also painted on canvas. This one I use natural charcoal, which is really soft and flies away when the wind blows. So I had to fix it down with glue and some fixative over and over again. The red thing in the middle is my self-portrait with red paint dripping down in the middle. So overlaying the charcoal drawings, you get two different views, and it could take you into a wonderful thing. Next, please. This one is called Nightmare. It's charcoal on paper. There's two figures. I pose for all my pictures, and they're all drawn from real life with mirror set off somewhere in my spot. And this one has red paint and blue paint, as you can see in the background, and then papers are from the photocopies of a famous work from Monet, the Olympia. Next, please. Yes. This one is memory. I did this for ARTS. This one is canvas. The white side are all of the letters my friend back in Taiwan wrote to me when I first came here. And then the left side, the purple side, is a drawing of my current home and the place I work. And the shoe in the middle is kind of saying that how I came here and what I have become from what I was before. And next slide, please. And this one has, this one is like, because at the end of close to the due date of the ARTS, we were being rushed, and this one was one of the rush pieces. The 10 pieces was so intense that at the end of the preparing days, we will have to stay up all night for 3 days in a row just to do the pieces. And this is one of the rush one. And this is also paint on canvas and charcoals. Next, please. Next one, please. And this one is it's the second one. It's like, oh my god, it's the same thing. Okay, this is a twin piece from the piece before. This one is called Looking Back. It's it has a railroad track on the upper left-hand corner, and symbolizing my traveling throughout 2 different cultures. And they had this looking back, meaning I still can't get rid of my old Chinese part of me. And this one is also done with paint on the canvas and charcoal on the paper, and then with a mixed media glue over it in the background with paper. Next one, please. This is not one of the 10 pieces I sent to the arts, and it's done in school. This one is mixed media as well over the canvas. I used County and graphite powder and paper and ink washes. This one has no name actually, so yeah. Next. This is another one of them. This is another one that's done after the ARTS competition, and what I did was I do ink wash on the yellow side, and I use paint and charcoal on the left side. This is more of a typical mixed media with actual object glued onto the canvas, as you see the shirt on the bottom left corner and old brushes. This one is almost everything is from the actual object glued onto canvas. It's really a big piece, and there's a shirt glue on the mirror frames, a broken chair, and this one is like one of the experimental pieces I did to test out how to incorporate actual objects with drawn perspectives. The sketchbooks are really important in preparing for larger pieces. This is from a sketchbook, and it's a self-portrait, and I have written notes over the drawing, and it kind of layers out, and it kind of leads into all the slides you've seen before that has different layers of spaces and perspectives. This is another study from my sketchbook. This is my sister sleeping on the bed, and this is done from colored pencil. We have to spend hours and hours per day in sketchbook drawing things like this just to get the idea down how to capture space on a flat sheet of paper. This is also from my sketchbook. Every Friday we would go to the city and go to a Parsons School of Design. They have a free program of model posing. More often they're nude, so we can study the anatomy and muscle structure of human beings. This is one of the models from the Parsons. This is also another sketchbook piece done in Parsons with the new models and anatomy study. It's a free program and almost anybody will walk in. So the first time I walked in, I was kind of shocked by seeing the nudes and all the things. Next, please. This is one of the 3 pieces. For Rhode Island School of Design, they asked us to do pieces at home called a home test, and they assign us titles and themes. This one is assigned with a bicycle, and we had to put a bicycle into a piece in some way, incorporated. So I asked my sister to pose in the bedroom, and I incorporated the bicycle in there with the tire track over her back, and then part of the tire showing in the background somewhere as to imply what happened to the person in the picture. And then this one is one of the home test piece as well. Besides the bicycle one, they asked us to do a free one with no assigned theme or any titles. So this one I choose to lay up 2 mirrors, in one next to another in different spaces, just like showing myself. This is the last one of the 3 home tests, and they asked us to do an interior space and exterior space. So I tried to show the interior space within the 3 jackets hanging on a hanger, and the exterior space as to the dark background outside doorway. So, yeah. And this is the end of my slides. I'll hand it over to Jane.
Oh, thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing those beautiful pictures with us. Now, Jane, how about your pictures?
This piece I started in my sophomore year of high school, and it's done on a sheet of white paper with colored pencils on top. It's basically my body, and the head that I'm placing on top of my body is my sister's head, and I've displaced my head and put it into my hand. And the idea is that I often switch my personality based upon the people that I'm around, and I often feel that the people behind me in the cabinet, if they're around, I'm not present. So to sort of like anguish, or to get rid of that anguish, it's sort of like metaphorically displacing their heads and putting it on my body, since I tend to feel like I act them, or I feel like I'm not present if they're around. Next, please. This piece was also done sophomore year. It's called Metro, and it's basically me, my brother, and some other people on the bus. It just explains the daily ordeal of public transportation, and you have like the couple in the top right kind of making out, and the people with the headphones everywhere. And I was just basically learning about perspective, since my hand is on top, so therefore it should be bigger than my head, and my feet are on the bottom, so therefore it should be smaller. And it was just my first really big assignment. This was a class drawing done, and it's basically the model sitting on a stool in the middle of the class, and the assignment was to shade it really fast in a 45-degree angle. And this was done in about 2 days. Next, please. This was done also in my classroom. It was done in my spot in the art room, and it's basically me after school all alone, drawing by myself, looking out the window and watching everyone else leave from school. It was my first and only mixed media piece, and I basically went about doing this by putting washes on the top, and then on top of the washes I would put newspaper, and then shade it with pastel. This is a drawing from my sketchbook, and it's basically pastel, and it's just a tree in a park. I was just exploring my skill with the pastel, and I wanted to draw nature instead of people and cars and, you know, like furniture. So I got bored one day and took my bike out and just started drawing nature, and this is what came out of it. Next, please. This is also a class drawing. The assignment was to take your pad and paint all over it, and then on top of that you had to draw the model with Conti and with black Conti and white Conti. So therefore you're just kind of learning to already have the middle tone on the paper, and from there just emphasizing the darks and the lights of the model. So that was the assignment of that, and I think it came out pretty nicely. So next, please. This is another drawing from my sketchbook, and it's just my foot in a very contorted and uncomfortable position. I was just seeing how to draw my foot in a position that's somewhat less than ordinary, and how, since you don't normally see your foot in this position, it's quite difficult to draw. Next, please. This is a drawing of my mother sleeping in my sketchbook. The only time that I can possibly get her to pose for me is when she's unconscious, because she just moves too much. And it's just my mom on the pillow. Next, please. This is a drawing from Parsons, and like Jenny said, we go on Fridays to Parsons and we just draw nude models, and this is one of a female lying down from the area of the rear end, and then from the chest down. Next, please. This is my first painting. It's since it's my first, I had to develop an area that had a lot of space, so therefore I picked the angle of someone looking at me from the bottom up, so therefore you have the depth of my hand in front, then my face, then my arm, and then the ceiling behind me. And I'm just basically fooling around with the colors in my face and trying to get down my painting rhythm and my painting skill, and that's about it. Next, please. This is another one of my paintings that I submitted for the arts competition from the NFA. The previous painting, that was the first one. This is, I believe, my second one, and it's just me dressing or undressing, whichever you like. And I'm in my room, and my mom has come in to set some clothing down on my bed, and I was just basically fooling around with perspective contrast between my mother and myself, me in front of my bed, and the wall behind me. And I'm nude because I enjoy painting flesh, and my mother is there because she's the only person in the house who is willing to pose for me. This is another one of my paintings for the arts. It's me sitting in my bathroom, and I was just enjoying how when I sat down, my body would be overlayering and overlapping itself so many times. Like with my arms, it would overlap my other leg, and then my leg would come around and overlap my body. And then you have the toilet and the curtains in the back. And I just liked how when I painted it, my whole body would just sort of change tone completely, from the leg in front to my body in the back and then to my shirt, and yet it would all still be the same being. This is another drawing from Parsons. As you can see, I liked these poses that were a bit shocking, like the view of the man with his leg up and the woman from the side. It was a bit uncomfortable, I suppose you could say, for a regular viewer, but for me it was just drawing shades. And I just enjoyed this pose a lot because it was very challenging, and you just don't see this normally. Next, please. This is my sketchbook. It's a square sketchbook. It's one of them, and I cut it halfway in between so that I could flip pages around. And it's just an accumulation of images I see around, like the bottom right is my computer, the top left is my face in 2 different positions, and others are just like doodlings around. And it's just sort of like a way of expressing myself in a more simpler way. This is another painting of my mother and I. It's another one of the arts paintings, and it's just me trying to figure out how to paint an environment that has 2 different rooms. Like the light is coming from the room behind me, and the room in front is dark, yet it still pops out. And my body compared to the light in the back, and my mother being in front of me, and so she's bigger, even though in real life she's shorter than me. And just the contrast of the desk, the stereo, my mother's body, and the floor. It was just a really kind of experimental painting in like the skill and the contrast of everything. This is another one of my arts paintings. It's just basically me in my studio spot in school, sitting on a stool, and behind me are 2 masonite boards. And they have drawings from Egon Schiele, and I picked his drawings because he has very emaciated figures, and that kind of appealed to me. And this painting just helped me more with perspective, you know, increasing the size of my hands and my knees and my legs in comparison to my face, and yet at the same time making it seem like it's normal. So I just basically learned a lot more with perspective. This is another one of the arts paintings. This was done, I believe, the night before the deadline and was accomplished in about 6 hours. It's just me sitting in front of my bed, and I picked this pose because it had a lot of my flesh showing, and as I said before, I very much enjoy painting flesh, and just the contrast of the light and of my body to the bed and to the floor. Next, please. This is a sketchbook drawing of my brother. It's a contour drawing, which is basically you draw on the paper without looking at the pencil per se. And it's just my brother sleeping. And as you can see, it's the only time I can get my family members to pose for me. And he's just in his covers, and I just liked the way that the line quality had come out. Next, please. This is another one of my arts paintings. It's me in my class, and basically I have a mirror in front of me and a mirror hung on top so I can see my back view. And it's just me turning on the water, and this painting was done, I suppose, for the benefit of me learning how to paint behind me and how to paint water. That was a real challenge. Next, please. This is another one of the arts paintings. It's basically the perspective is from above me, and that was done by putting a mirror behind the masonite board so that it would lay against the board. And it was kind of dangerous. It would fall on me a couple of times, but I managed through it. And this was done to sort of like establish some tremendous depth going on here. And for instance, with my body, the proportions were done differently. There's a lot of foreshortening going on, especially with my mother and me and the cabinet. And basically, it was just, I established this depth by having a lot of layers, like with my head and my mom's head, then the cabinet, then the floor, and the chair behind me. Like, it all just gives like these different layers of depth. And that was what this painting accomplished. This drawing was done about maybe 5 months ago, and it's just me sitting down. It started out as just me being in my studio spot, but I changed it to having it as me staying in front of my bed, and then after that it just turned into having space around me. There's like no actual background to this piece. And my art teacher and I had agreed that it would work that way, but unfortunately it didn't. This is 1 out of 3 drawings from the RISD home test. And this assignment was the bicycle assignment, which is basically just draw a bicycle. And it's my brother, who had just fallen off of his bicycle at night outside behind our house. And this took quite some time, and I made him sit on the floor outside in the cold for quite some time. And the bicycle, I believe, is, yeah, that's about it. This is the second assignment from the RISD home test. It's basically, the assignment is to do anything, And I chose to draw my mom because she's like the best model in the entire house. She's reading a book, supposedly, but in actuality she's asleep because the drawing had taken so long. That's about it. Next, please. This is the third assignment from the RISD home test. This is the interior space or the exterior space. I chose interior space, and this is the shoe closet in the front of the house, right before the doorway entrance. And it just has all the shoes in the family and the coats. And I just found it to be a very interesting piece. Next, please. This is my last drawing. It's relatively big and it's just charcoal on paper. The figure in front is just sitting down, and the pieces in the back, those are just drawings on a piece of paper, and it's called potential. Basically, the figures in the back are what I want to do, but I'm so lazy that I just sit there. And that's about it.
Well, thank you, Jane, for sharing those very talented and various beautiful drawings with us. And also thank you, Jenny. Could you tell us, before we leave the show, what your plans are for the future?
I plan to go to Maryland Institute College of Art and first major in general fine arts, as to find a more certain major later on so I can go into graduate school for it.
And how about you, Jane?
I plan to attend Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, and major in illustration. And then after that, graduate school.
Well, I do want to wish you the best of luck, a very happy and successful career. And please join us again when Mel Berkowitz presents another show. Thank you for visiting with us tonight. Let's keep talking.